Yes, thank you. Okay, we are going to begin. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. On behalf of our organizing team, I would like to warmly welcome you to today's international webinar titled MILCities, Re-educating New Hybrid Physical and Digital Space. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. It is a pleasure to bring together researchers, educators, city leaders, media professionals, and students who share a common interest in building more informed, inclusive, and sustainable communities. As our cities become continually connected through both physical and digital space, media and information literacy has never been more important. Today's discussion offers an opportunity to exchange ideas, learn from one another, and explore innovative solutions for the future of our cities. We are especially honored to have distinguished experts from different countries who will share their knowledge and experience with us. Without further delay, it is my pleasure to invite my colleague and co-host, Professor Felipe Chiba Ortiz, Executive Coordinator of the International Center for Innovation and Development of MILCities at the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Professor Felipe Chiba has been a leading advocate for media and information literacy and the development of MILCities around the world. Professor Felipe, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Komikonako, and thank you so much to excellent panelists and keynotes present today. Dear friends and colleagues, you are so very welcome to a special session entitled MILCities Re-educating New Hybrid Physical and Digital Space. We got here a real challenge. The planet is in danger. We now treat peace and ecology and other threats. Furthermore, the MILCities approach doesn't focus on technology itself, but rather on how and why technologies are used, and especially innovative communication technologies. We are at a pivotal moment in humanity, and scientists, activists, politicians, and educators working with media and information literacy must play a vital role. It is our duty. With this perspective and others, new physical and digital space are being built. That's why we are holding these special MILCities, Media and Information Literacy Cities sessions. The floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your introduction word. Now we are going to introduce our first guest, Professor Dong. Professor Kyung Dong is the Director of Communication at the University of the Pacific with 30 years of experience teaching media studies, research method, and intercultural communication. His student-concentrated approach emphasizes critical thinking, analytical problem solving, timing, feedback, and instructional innovation foundation that guide his integration of generative artificial intelligence into teaching and learning. Drawing on extensive research and international collaboration, he explored how generative artificial intelligence can support communication education while preserving human judgment, ethical responsibility, and academic standard. Professor Dung, you have the floor.
Okay, so I have the PowerPoint to share.
Yes, you can share
Uh,
it.
I I will start from now. So,
Yes.
hi everybody. So glad to be here. So I appreciate everyone's engagement, and this is a great opportunity. So I just want to thank everyone. So I think that is today's topic is really kind of fit into today's situation in every component everywhere in the world. Because the generate AI and AI in general is really changing everything and anything, and no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing. So in terms of the city nowadays, the media and information literacy in terms of the in generate AI is really kind of the very timing. It's very kind of in a way it's give us a lot of opportunities. The city becomes a learning environment, and every public space has a connected digital layer, and every digital service teaches citizens how to verify, how to participate, and how to create and responsibly. So I think that is in a way that is really the digital kind of the situation help us, and particularly this AI. For example, it can give us this free access, free Wi-Fi devices, multiple the protocols, and it can also help us evaluate, fast track, check the stations, source literacy signs, and also create this the student, citizen, and media labs, and can be found in the cities. I mean, that's another opportunity, and also help us to participate in the digital town halls and offline and deliberation. So it's really kind of give us the that opportunities. But this the most impressive the challenge is not only the technical, but also have some other challenges in terms of a digital divide, not just access, but skills, language, disability, and access and the trust. So that digital divide does pose some kind of challenges. Other challenges include misinformation, and AI generated content makes the verification harder and faster. So it looks like the look across the board, across the world, you can see that with AI, more and more misinformation, disinformation. So it's another challenge. Another one is a participation gap. Loud voices dominating, and just like the in the older days, the loud voice can dominate quite tremendously, and also quiet communities are invisible. So this is kind of very kind of go to extreme in the two ways. Privacy and surveillance is issues. Smart services can collect data without meaningful consent. I mean, we do not know and whether our information has been collected. This kind of issue challenges has been heard in a lawsuit almost everywhere. So particularly in the U.S., this is become very problematic, and even in the like the banking usage, you are kind of spend the money and then your information collected, and huge issues. And here in the States, human connections, digital convenience also weaken face-to-face community ties, and we cannot imagine that if we keep this kind of in this AI age in the next like 2 to 3 years. I mean, how much this human touch can be changed to a great extent as well. So AI should. So what should we do? So in terms of AI, so AI should be an assistant, not invisible authority. And because simple governance test, and so we need before deploying an AI. So how can we solve the civic problems, and what data should we use? Who benefits? And can citizens understand the decision-making process? Is there human process to challenge? And does it work across languages, cultures, ages? I mean, even the language part is, I'm sure that is, my colleagues in China knows that is, China, I think it's like 12 universities. They changed this foreign languages teaching instead of, they expand into the law teaching together. So meaning that you're teaching foreign languages and the students have to study law. I mean, those kind of things are happening in the meantime. But the problem is that it's with those changes, does it work? Does it help? I mean, there's so many changes. On the one hand, is good, but in the meantime, we do not know what is the impact, what is the next step. But there are some kind of opportunities for us, particularly in the field of communication, where I'm teaching for the past 30 years at the University of Pacific. So the literacy can be translated into a city model. For example, source checking and AI disclosure and intercultural communication sensitivity. Those are the things I'm teaching. I'm teaching intercultural communication and also teaching media literacy in the University of Pacific. So it's an opportunity for me and for my students. We can also develop some workshop in the libraries, schools, and the senior centers, so we can kind of really step out into the city and to help. Community craze and local stores, fact check guides, multilingual kind of explainers, and particularly so we have this World Cup, and we have in 2 years we have this the Summer Olympics here in Los Angeles. So that's we can see how much this AI can really change the city and set a model for the country for the world. And so city strength and trust and resilience and informed participation. So I want to add one more thing is that students' engagement. Because students are the future and they are young people, they are the future not only for our media literacy in the cities and also in the world. So I think getting them engaged even early on, so not only they are before they get into the universities, we can do young people's engagement. They can really help this media and information literacy and connect with the AI. The last one is the partnership must move from conferences to share the civic tools like shared metrics, media information literacy readies, scoreboards for cities, open curriculum, adaptable lessons, schools and libraries, communities. One thing I want to say that is nowadays with this AI in the U.S. higher education, it's a very kind of hesitate to adopt. For example, in my universities, we have this called AI guidelines, AI policies. But in the meantime, that policy seems very kind of weak because we hard to use. It's very general. How it's not concrete. It's there, but it's how can we use that in the individual level, in the class level? So we have this kind of dichotomy there. Faculty city labs and student test AI tools with the real civic problems. So we do see some people and some faculty are leading, but not across board. Multilingual kind of resources. And so those are the opportunities and also the annual exchange case studies from Latin America, South America, Africa, Canada, and across Asia, US, and all. So that is pretty much for what I like to kind of start with. I just want to thanks everyone's listening and have this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Professor Dung, for your communication. Was very interesting to hear you. And you have focused on many points. You have talked or shared with us about the most impressing challenge, such as digital divide, misinformation, participation gap, and privacy and surveillance, and women connection. And you have also highlighted many opportunities AI offered to us today, such as students to learn source face checking, student serve library, and their engagement. And you have also suggested us that AI must be a sort of tool to partnership to partner with others. And I would like now let Professor Felipe add his comment. Thank you so much, Professor June, for your sharing.
Thank you.
Professor Felipe, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, professors. This webinar is very rich with very good panelists and keynotes. Professor K1, you are a light for us because your vision is very important for this new paradigm of MILCities. I remark some words of you, like the different indicators to evaluate the digital platforms and the life, this hybrid life at the platforms, digital platforms, and the physical reality. We need to evaluate, of course, the misinformation and disinformation, because the contents is not only the challenge now is not only for the focus, only technological focus. We need the other indicators, other metrics, and you bring these different indicators, like how is the access, how is the evaluators, how is the creation, and for me it's very important to the observers, and who observers who. We need this a new indication. Thank you so much, Professor, for your brilliant presentation, and of course we need grow together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your commentary.
Thank you.
Now, we are going to give the floor to our next speaker from China, Professor Sadia Jamel. Professor Sadia Jamel is an associate professor in international communication at the University of Nottingham, Ningbo, China. Her work focus on global media, digital communication, and the evolving role of information technology in shaping public discourse across culture and artificial intelligence. She brings extensive academic and research experience in communication studies with a strong emphasis on major system, digital transformation, and international journalism. Her scholarship explores how communication practice influence society in both local and global contexts, particularly in relationship to emerging digital platforms. Professor Sadia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Philip. Thank you, Professor Comey, and it's always a pleasure to be with you in this webinar with wonderful panelists every time. And I think every time when I come and join this webinar, it's a great pleasure. But today it's a little special because I would say when I was looking at the topic of the webinar, when you talked about hybrid spaces, you think about something physical, you think something about virtual world. And then I was wondering, do we bring some of the challenges from our physical world to the virtual world, or we embrace altogether some new challenges when we deal with technology, with AI and all that? But I feel that a lot of challenges are actually inherited from our physical world. So when I was thinking about if we have to envisage a MILCT, media information and literacy, particularly in the global south, which is quite diversified in terms of resources, infrastructure, intellectual, financial, technological resources, what kind of hybrid spaces we can envisage, and particularly what sort of challenges we can experience in the countries of the global south. And I roughly think that there are 4 key areas: infrastructure, pedagogy, governance, and equality. And for me, I think all those four accepts are interwoven. When we think about infrastructure, I pick from Professor Dong's speech. He talked about digital divide. I think I've been very much into digital divide research. And very recently, I found that when we think about digital divide, it's not just about the issue of access in terms of have and haves not. It's not just about the accessibility issue of material infrastructure, it's much beyond that. And very recently, we were doing a research project in Egypt, and we used a typology about infrastructure accessibility issues. And we started from the issue of motivational access. A lot of time when we think about hybrid learning spaces, we really need to understand whether the students, parents, teacher, all together, they are interested and motivated to adopt technology. Whether they really want to move into that learning space, and that motivation can be challenged by a lot of factors. It could be a technophobia, it can be emotional and psychological barriers, it can be some individual psychological issues. We really need to think, and it is very contextual and cultural, in my opinion. When you think about the differences of motivational access to use technology and artificial intelligence, and we cannot envisage a hybrid space until we address that unequal motivational access. The second category, of course, is about material access, which is the first level of digital divide. When you think about whether people, either students or teachers, they have access to ICT devices and internet. So definitely we have to bridge that gap. And then as usual, we talk about the digital literacy or a skill gap and the usage gap. But for me, what is new in it is to think about motivational gap, whether people are willing to use at the first place technology and AI. That is a part of infrastructure. So just having nice ICT infrastructure, having nice statistic about the provisions in terms of digital literacy and usage is not enough. Because what we found back to Egypt, and now we are going to replicate that project in UAE, a lot of people, even they have access to ICT devices, they might not be motivated to develop their skills. They might not be developed to expand their usage across different professional arenas. So I would say that when you think about infrastructure, when you think about access issues, it should be motivation, material access. Second aspect is about pedagogy. Environment has become fragmented because learning environment like classroom. We have social media, which is platform learning. And then we have informal community learning. So if you think about the hybrid learning system, we really need to think about what sort of learning outcomes we are envisaging. The learning outcome which we may have in a physical classroom might be different in terms of outcome when you use virtual informal means of teaching. So we really need to think that learning environment with the integration. If I have to tell you the case of University of Nottingham, as Professor Dong mentioned, that is still universities are hesitant to use AI technology, and we are not an exception. We really restrict the use of AI in our online learning system and in our assessments and everything. So not really welcoming the use of AI, except for a minimum if a student declared the use of Grammarly for the writing, but they cannot use AI for any other purposes in their assignments and teaching environment. And there is a kind of fragmentation, option of technology in the learning environment. We need to think about what's a hybrid learning space, and that is a challenge, I think. The third aspect is about governance. When awareness, it's not just about the structure, the administration of educational institutions. Some institutions, they are public. Some institutions, they are private. Then we really need to think whether all these public private sectors, they are well synced with the government regulatory mechanisms, and are they well coordinated with the local ministries. That is an issue. For example, if I have to go back to the case of Egypt, we have public sector universities, we have private universities, and then we have international universities operating there. And despite there is a common regulatory mechanism, which is quite cultural, I would say, as per the Arab Council of Research, but still we see that there is a kind of fragmentation and less coordination when it comes to between public and the private sector. So we really need to think about, if we are developing MILCities, how between public and the private sector. And the last factor, participation, which Professor Dong has also mentioned in his presentation. When we think about participation, we really need to think about the disability factors. Are we considering students and teachers who are disabled, how they are going to be part of that hybrid learning environment? Are we considering marginalized communities? And particularly when I think about marginalized community, it's the problem of access because of the linguistic barrier. Why I say so, this is a common problem across the Middle East. This is a common problem in multicultural societies, for example, India and Pakistan. I have done a lot of research back to Pakistan. I am doing a lot of research in Middle East. And what I found in multicultural societies, for example, if you have a lot of local ethnic languages, how you are going to ensure a hybrid learning environment. For example, in case of Pakistan, but still in 4 different provinces, there are 4 different ethnic languages. Then you go back to Middle East, you see still English is the official language, but the huge educational resources, they are in Arabic. And a lot of teachers and students, they really struggle how to make use of those resources because they don't have translation available. And that deprives them, that creates an issue of equity because their participation is then choked, it's blocked. So if I have to summarize, the hybrid learning system is an ideal situation. It could be ideal, but we have to think about infrastructure, pedagogy, governance, and participation and inclusion issues before we can implement in hybrid learning systems in media and information literacy cities. With that, I conclude that. But if I have to say in summary, my focal point are these 4 key areas, and that define my research, current research in Egypt, and of course, my forthcoming research in the United Arab Emirates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sadia, for this powerful communication you have shared with us today. Quickly, I will highlight some notes. You have talked about many challenges we face today to implement and to integrate AI and ITC in our communities, such as material barrier, cultural barrier, motivation barrier, language barrier, and infrastructure barrier, and the government. I will quickly give the floor to Professor Felipe to contribute before we go to the next speaker. Professor Felipe, you have the floor. Professor Felipe. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, it's okay now. Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Komikonako. Thank you so much, Professor Sadia Jamil. I agree with Professor Komikonako about the highlights, but I will remark some items. The quality of women is important, very important point, because many problems of the physical ecosystems we brings to the digital ecosystems. And this is a real problem because at the digital ecosystems, we got the exponential factors, exponential technologies, and the problems, the barriers, the cultural barriers. You talked too about the cultural barriers. The cultural barriers got got the force, exponential force of the digital ecosystems and the material infrastructure possibility this. And I like so much your point about technophobia, about the emotional factors, because the emotional factors are present too at the digital ecosystems, and these emotional factors determine our behavior at this space, and we need studies, we need research about this, because these points, emotional factors, are present in all decisions, the private institutions and the public institutions too. And we need the study, of course, the different cultures, the different identities at the countries. Your presentation, dear Professor Sadia Jamel, was beautiful. Thank you so much again for your contribution.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe. Thank you, Professor Sadia Jamel, for your sharing. Yeah, we have now to give the floor to Mr. Michael Ogu from Canada, my country. So before I give the floor to Mr. Michael, let me introduce him. Mr. Michael Ogu is a library and information scientist and independent researcher based in Canada. His professional work focuses on library, science, information organization, and knowledge management with an emphasis on improving access to information and supporting learning through well-structured information system. He brings practical and research experience in library, service, and information literacy, contributing to discussion on how library and digital information environment can better serve communities, educators, and learners in an increasingly digital world. Mr. Michael, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, my fellow Canadian, and thank you, everyone. I must confess that the previous speakers, Professor Don and Sadia, have really laid a solid ground for this conversation. Honestly, it just makes everything a lot easier for me and for others following. And drawing from Sadia's focal points, where they were summarizing, as someone who has been in the space from the academia back in Nigeria, in Africa, and as a librarian all across to Canada here, where I found myself in the space within AI governance and privacy in consulting roles, and I've worked with both public and private sectors. I really find this course very, very interesting, because I'm just going to talk basically about governance as it has to do with this conversation. A lot is going on. We know how much we are trying to play catch up with the capabilities of the technological system around our digital spaces right now. This is to agree that both the physical and the digital spaces have merged. We previously talked in terms of our interactions with them. Right now, they have merged, because students learn online, citizens interact with government online, communities are increasingly being built on digital platforms. And where does that leave us? Enormous opportunities, as we must admit, but then those opportunities also have the unprecedented risks that are there staring us on the face. And this is why governments are beginning to intervene. We see policies, we see legislation springing up everywhere. US just 2 months ago came up with the AI framework, AI national framework, which is there before the parliament. The EU AI Act has just been brought out. And most recently, Canada has joined the foray with the Safe Social Media Act, which is on the front burner of every conversation right now, because this is very, very, very critical and very, very related to media and information literacy as a platform. And what I find I find quite interesting about the Canadian Safe Social Media Act is how it has shifted from the reactive legislation we previously had to a more proactive legislation with emphasis on safety by design and child-centered platforms. This is trying to say, instead of waiting for problems to occur, why don't we design these systems in a way where we avert the problem from the beginning? And it's a very, very beautiful thing. And it also gives a kind of, it's not just about making law, it's also building a teeth for the law with the independent commission being also created alongside this law, where platforms, where AI companies, technology companies must be held accountable for them to design systems, for them to build systems that are safe, especially for our children. As someone who has been in literacy space as a librarian, it's really, really an issue. We've been talking about brain drain being caused by AI, and we don't really need to say it's just causing brain drain, because it's also causing brain enhancement. But the problem has been, how are we using these AI systems? And that is where literacy comes in. And I'm really, really saying that media and information literacy must try to move a little further from just educating users on how to use technology to now educating the citizens, organizations, government, the AI system designers, and everybody involved. We all need to come on board, get the right education. And when we are able to do this is when we are able to now have a responsible environment, a responsible citizenry that use platforms responsibly and ethically. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Michael Ogu, for your sharing. Yes, as you have highlighted, you focus on the social impact of technology, especially artificial intelligence in our society. And I have like one point you highlight, how we can guide our children and prevent them from problems online, awareness. Thank you so much, because I work on this topic and I know today that you work also on this topic. We will work together. I will give the floor to Professor Philippe to comment. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Konako, and thank you so much, of course, Mr. Michael Ogbu. Your beautiful presentation is very, very, very useful, because you talk about the children's, because you talk about the AI governance. We need public policies. with this focus governance. And we have a few time for this because the technology is very quick, and our reaction is not the it's not the it's not it's not sufficient. It's not we need the more velocity. We need the more respond with more force, more strong, and more velocity with the regulations and the legislation. In my opinion, this point is very important because we need to the international governance of the AI. It's not only for the, for example, for Brazil or for Canada or for United States or for China. No. We need the international governance because the challenge, the problems is not only for Vietnam or for India. No, the problem is more is big, more big than of our countries. We need now, for example, the challenge to the private sectors, the big tech technology enterprise like Google, like TikTok, whatever. And we got the regulation. We need regulations. We need new regulations because we got new actors, new stakeholders, and new visions, new interactions and dynamics. And we need this point. Policies, new policies on with the regulation to the action of every these actors. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Philippe, for your contribution. We are going to give the floor to our next speaker from Vietnam, Mrs. Nguyen Wang. Mrs. Nguyen is the co-founder of the Youth Empowerment Digital Network. She is engaged in youth development initiatives focused on digital empowerment, education, and leadership with a strong interest in helping youth people build the skills for active participation in today's digital society. Her work emphasizes youth engagement, digital literacy, and community-driven innovation, supporting programs and encourage youth people to use technology responsibly and creatively for social impact. She is also involved in building collaborative network to connect youth leaders, educators, and organizations across different regions. Yeah, Mrs. Nguyen, you have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, so I will share my screen.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
No,
Oh.
It is black.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
now.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Okay, so first, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining from. I'm Quỳnh, and I'm a youth who is making board game for media and information literacy in Vietnam and maybe beyond. Our game is a detective-style role-play game. During the play testing, we kept seeing the same patterns. What surprised us was information alone didn't seem to explain their decisions. Something about when and where they were asked to decide seemed to matter just as much. So one of our players stayed with me, and she was racing through the game and trying to beat the clock. When she hit a moment, we built in deliberately a structural pause where she had to check a second source before accusing anyone of spreading a false story. In that gap, she changed her answer. And when we asked why, she said, I hadn't actually looked at yet. I was just reacting. And that's our observations. And it's not really a casual evidence, but it's enough to justify a questions. It made me and our colleges start questioning something I would taken for granted. We tend to think about media and information literacy as something we teach an individual, a set of competencies a person's either had or doesn't. What if MIL also depends on the environment in which that person is asked to decide? And that questions change how I read the theme of today's discussions. In a physical space, information generally arises and then a person decides. But in hybrid space, the deciding increasingly happens while the information is still arriving. Hybrid space don't simply deliver information differently, and they recognize the conditions under which judgment takes place. So here's the questions that I still cannot fully answer. Is the interventions point in MIL only educational, or is this also architectures? So our observations suggest that this design choice may create better conditions for reflections, and it doesn't prove that the past caused reflections, only that where we place these moments may matter as much as what we teach in them. Digital environments shape behavior. They do not merely host it. Removing a pause from digital space is cheap and it scales instantly, which is exactly why platforms do it everywhere and automatically. Building one back in does not scale in the same way, and it has to be designed deliberately into each context, and it doesn't get built evenly. So digital inequality may not only be about who has access on the technology, but it may also be about who has access to the environments designed to support reflection. And meeting Professor Shibas and Katahena helped me see that what we've been observing inside one game could also be framed as a questions about cities. And that to me and to my college is one of the real strengths of this network. It turns local observations into international research questions. So the organizations that I co-found, which is Yet Network, is investigating a narrower research questions, not just does media literacy education work, but digital interactions actually change behavior, and does that hold once you leave one cultural context? We are running the text through with partners in our countries, and also we are looking forward to Indonesia and Singapore. And we try to test on different platforms, different norms, and around authority, different relationship to speed and disagreement. And I genuinely don't know yet whether what worked for Vietnamese teenager works the same way for an Indonesian one. And that open questions is the most valuable contributions that I can bring to this room today. Localizations is often understood as adapting language and example. Our language work suggests it may also involve adapting the conditions under which people are able to exercise judgment in the first place. And those conditions, like the language around them, differ from place to place. And we usually think of infrastructure as what moves people, electricity or information through a city. Maybe MIL cities also need a quite a kind of infrastructure, one that preserve the conditions for a person to actually think before they act. And Perhaps that's a question that our community and our organizations is especially well positioned to explore. What would it mean to design those same moments into the digital environments through which a city increasingly governs itself? And that is the end. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Nguyen, for your intervention. I will quickly give the floor to Professor Felipe to give his comment. Thank you so much. It was very interesting to hear you.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comeconaco. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Miss. Thank you so much, Miss Nguyen Kim. And I like so much your presence here. You talk with the voice of the young people, and of course, this point is essential for us. You are the future. You are the present and the future too. You talk about the open questions and the importance of the play game, educative play game. Play game is very important to the new generations because they play and they learn. This point is very significant to us and to develop a new relationship between the students and professors and the educators. We need this kind of educative play game, and you and your team have all my support for this. Thank you so much, and we need so much your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe. For everyone, we have finished our webinar, but I will give you time to ask question, contribution before you end this session. We give the floor to Professor Dong.
Professors all present. Oh, sorry, the interruption. But if you can, professors and all panelists, to respond some questions, something like how can MILCities foster active citizen engagement and critical thinking in the face of misinformation and evolving digital challenge? Or, for example, other question, what metrics and indicators should be developed to evaluate the success of and scalability of MILCities? Sorry for the interruption, Professor.
No, it is okay. We are working together. I'm sorry. You can't see me. I don't know what is happening today to my laptop.
No problem, Professor. No problem. It's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to add to this question and answer part, is the Q&A part. So what I'm thinking is that we are in a very kind of challenging time. This time is coming to us too fast and too quick. So in a way that we really have little time to react to this AI in terms of impact and also the challenges. But one thing we can do is we should to do more kind of grassroots efforts, meaning that is get people engaged, particularly like today's the nuance talk about this from young people's kind of perspective. So let's get young people and get engaged. Let our students get engaged. Let our every walks of life get engaged, because this is the only way, as long as we can engage, do it and practice it and review and reevaluate it. So without engagement, so no matter what we talk about, and we cannot make a change, we cannot make an impact. So I think that is our media literacy in this in the cities, and we need to get everyone engaged. So that's what I will answer to all these potential questions.
Thank you so much, Professor, and don't for your contribution. We need to be engaged everywhere we are, even though we are children or young or adult. We need today to work together so we can have a good skill in artificial intelligence and MILCities in order to develop our countries, our societies, and our education system. Thank you so much. Professor Felipe, I don't know if you have something to add before we give the floor to the next.
I agree with the Professor Kingwen. That's my word. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Professor Sadia, you have the floor. Professor Sadia? Maybe she's not connected. So we are going to give the floor to Mr. Michael Ogu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Professor Emmanuel, Professor Chibas. Just to quickly add to what Professor Dong has said, I've always been an advocate of collaborations. I never stop talking about the importance of collaboration. And we are doing a great work with the MILCities initiative. I feel we just need to engage further, just like Professor Dong said, and have a more structured approach to this work. You know, if MILCities will have to grow, at the MILCities initiative will have to grow, we need to invest heavily on digital literacy, AI literacy, privacy literacy, cyber security awareness, ethical AI, public-private collaboration, and the lifelong learning. So these are ongoing conversations, and particularly, like Professor Manuel mentioned, we need to collaborate more. I'm going to reach out to you in particular about this and see where we take these things. We need to really push the governments, the organizations, the tech companies to become more accountable and transparent, because these technologies are built for humans. And if humans are not at the center of it, even governance itself is not meaningful, because most times when we look at governance, we are looking at kind of power tussle control, China against US, trying to, I don't want to call anybody out, but these are realities, trying to have more control about this. And humans, the people, the citizens who are the center of this are relegated to the background. So these are conversations, and that's why I mentioned earlier in my presentation that our educating process, the literacy process, should be more focused beyond just users of technology to the government itself, to the companies, to the technology developers, to AI system designers, and what have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mikael, for your contribution. I can summarize it in one sentence. Women must be in the center of our ITC and artificial intelligence use and integration in our society and in our education and our culture. Thank you so much. Professor Felipe, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I would like to Professor Ogbu, Michael Ogbu, can you share a successful initiative or experience from your city or region that demonstrates how media and information literacy strengthens community resilience and social cohesion.
Okay, is this question for me?
Yes. For
Okay.
you. And for all.
Yeah, there's one that comes to mind particularly. Well, I think sometime in November last year, the Toronto Public Library, which is reputed as the biggest public library system in North America, if not across the globe, hosted the AI Summit, which I was part of, and it was a great initiative. You know, the event housed all stakeholders from across all industries, you know, the academia, the private and public sector. And we had a very beautiful conversation where some of the things we brought to fore today were also tabled, and discussions were also made and are ongoing about how to improve the literacy system in the city. It's working ever since there has been the AI literacy program being organized by I don't work for the TPL, but I find it very fascinating. I find the program quite mentioning because it is something that I believe other municipalities and other governments or public organizations across the globe can adopt. So having a structured AI literacy program by a big organization of sort is very, very necessary. It's really helping down here because I see the youths, our youths are engaging in it. They attend these programs, and it's shaping how they understand and use AI ethically. So this is what's one important initiative that I can share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mikel, for your contribution. Professor Felipe?
I agree with the professor.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we are going to give the floor to our last speaker from Vietnam, Mrs. Nguyen Oking.
Yes, I also agree with Professor Dong. I also read about the ROMEX indicators of UNESCO about the internet development. So one of it, they have state the M letter, which is multi-stakeholder participations. And I also think that is very aligned with the UNESCO visions. And I also think that we should have the collaborations between multi-stakeholder and parties to like have many visions and to know about the inside of each target audience. And also from my perspective, so I also was a victim of of the fact that in the past I didn't have much media information literacy, and not until I became the victim of it, and then I realized how important it is to our life. And I also don't want other youths to experience the same thing to me. So I think it's very important to find a way for youths to learn about media and information literacy practically and efficiently.
Right.
Thank you so much. Yes. Professor Felipe?
Thank you. Dear Nguyen Queen, can you share a successful initiative or experience from your city or region that demonstrates how media and information literacy strengthens community resilience and social cohesion?
Okay, so may I clarify a little bit that you asked like an initiative or a change that have helped our community be better, right? Is that so? Okay,
Okay.
so okay,
Yes, yes.
so
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that there's a fact that in Southeast Asia in general and in Vietnam for particular, that we are having many scams organizations here, unfortunately, especially in Cambodia and Myanmar. So, but so we have experienced a lot of like scams and also the misinformations, and it affect our life a lot. I have known like so many scams that affect our families, our friends, and they even go bankruptcy because of the misinformations and also the lack of media and information literacy. So our government have been care about it for recent years, and they start to have campaigns and also teaching MIL in schools and university more. So they want to prevent the fact that they don't want any more victims. Uh, and yeah, I think that it kind of like successful in some way because uh due to the reputations, at some point we start to think about the are we in a scam before we decide anything. But also, of course, they are very professional in scams and also misinformation. So we are still trying to have more campaigns and strategy to improve the MIL of our citizens. However, I'm really looking forward to a future that every citizens of our countries and our cities have been educated well in media and information literacy, so that um, I won't see any more like victims and scam here.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Professor Felipe, we are at the end of this session. I will give the floor quickly to everyone to summarize in one word our meeting. So I'll begin with Professor Kim Weng Dung. You have one word to share with us before you leave the floor.
I will say this is one word is a fantastic because the way we are doing is exactly the way we are kind of change things, and the impact is really start from our step one. We often say that it's a long journey, 1,000 miles journey start from step one.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Professor Dung, for this word. It is very strong.
This is
very
the step
strong
one,
word.
and using our top example, what we can do.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Professor Sadia, are you connected? Professor Sadia? Okay. We're going to give the floor to Mr. Michael. One word.
Okay, just want to say that technology can transform our cities, but literacy is what determines whether that transformation actually empowers or exploits us. So we must continue to build on literacy if we must have a smart city or a good digital and physical hybrid society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Major literacy is the key to open every door. Thank you. We are going to give the floor to Mrs. Nguyen. Mrs. Nguyen?
Nguyen?
I'm sorry, I just have like internet disruptions. So
Yeah.
yeah. What did you say? Sorry.
Yeah. We are going to end this session and we need to hear from you one word, a strong word, to summarize what we have done here.
Okay, so actually first I want to thank everyone here because of the insights that you have gave to me so far. Because I'm just a student, so sometimes my point of view is still like of the professionals and academic perspective that it need to add to be more mature and to be complete. And every session like this gave me more informations and also insight, so I can improve each time and improve my organization's way and to see if our pathway is correct, is right, or it need to be adjusted. So I think it's very insightful to me because it helped me in practice a lot and to know how to lead my organizations in the right way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Nguyen. We are working together, and what you have shared with us is very, very valuable. So you don't need to think about what is good or is not good. We are here to work together. Thank you so much for what you have shared with us today.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Professor Felipe, you have the last word. So
Yes, of course. But here is the Professor Sadia Jamel is here.
oh, okay. Professor Sadia. Professor Sadia.
So you are muted, Professor Jamil.
Okay. Yeah, she is muted. Professor Jamel.
Oh,
Professor Sadia Jamil, you are muted now.
What has happened? I don't know.
I think that he has any problem. Yeah, technical problem. Professor
Yeah.
Sadia Jamer, you are here. We don't listen to you.
Yes, we don't listen to her.
Yeah, can you unmute? Can you unmute yourself, Professor Sadia?
Yes, I am going to. Yeah.
I guess it's a glitch or something.
Yes, yes.
You need
For some reason, it's not muted. Yeah, it's not muted. But we can write in a message here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. At the chat.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay.
We don't listen.
Sometime problem. Yes.
We see you, Professor Sadia Jamil, but we don't listen you.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's good.
We can hear now.
It's good.
No, I don't know because it has been unmuted at my end since long, but I don't know why you cannot hear me.
So now we can hear.
But
now we can hear.
No,
No, it's
I
good.
just wanted to say to Nguyen, because when she mentioned that I'm a student and I felt that the one word is empowerment, Because when we think about media and information literacy, we don't just empower our citizens, our communities, our students, our teachers, but it's an overall empowerment because we try to bridge the gap, motivational gap, access gap, skills gap. So basically, the idea is empowerment. So the one word which I feel is relevant here is empowerment.
Thank you so much, Professor Sadia, for your last word. Empowerment, collaboration. Thank you so much. Today, we have faced some technical problem, but I think that next time we resolve it. Professor Philippe, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thanks so much to all for your presence and to share your knowledge with us. Today we have different specialists with different professions, different visions, different ages, different angles of the same topic and practical challenge. We have here, we need to develop the cities, our cities, with art, with innovation, with education, but with new knowledge, new science, new research, and with ethics, as well as with the basis of the paradigm MILCities. My final words are: we are a family, a Mill City family. We are one. We need all of you, but for this new vision, we can do that. We can grow together. We can build a new cities and new societies. Thank you so much for your knowledge. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Philippe, for your ending word. We are a one family, a Mill City family, to build together, and we are here to collaborate. Have a great day wherever you are, and our next meeting will be known very quickly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Dung. Thank you so much, Professor Sadia. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael and Mrs. Nguyen from Vietnam.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We can hear you now, Sadia. That's wonderful.
Let me tell you, people. Let me tell you to all. We need your contribution too with a chapter for a new book on MILCities, and I wait for all of you for your contribution of this collective work.
Okay, well noted.
Felipe, but the deadline is very close.
Yeah,
you told deadline is 15th of July, right? No, like I'm traveling, so in 15 days, it's very difficult to get a chapter. No.
Well, think about it, but we think, but the deadline is not mine. It's the editorial people.
Yeah, because I will be traveling whole July. I will be traveling, even August. Yeah.
Think about it, but we talk.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you. Yeah.
Please stay, Professor